Welcome back to English Meadow. You're here because you feel something is missing. You're here because you're tired of the noise. You're here because you know you're capable of more, but something always holds you back. Let me tell you what that something is. It's your reaction. Every single time you open your mouth. Every single time you type a response. Every single time you feel that rush of heat in your chest. That is the moment you lose. And you've been losing for years without even knowing it. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Your reactions are not you. They are the ghosts of your insecurities. They are the echoes of your childhood wounds. They are the footprints of every person who ever made you feel small. When you react, you are not making a choice. You are running a program. And the program was written by someone else. Maybe it was your father who never listened. Maybe it was your teacher who told you that you'd never amount to anything. Maybe it was that friend who made you feel like you had to fight for your place at the table. And now here you are, fighting shadows, screaming into the void, wasting your energy on things that don't even exist. You think you're defending yourself. You think you're being strong. But real strength doesn't need to defend anything. Real strength just watches. It observes. It lets the storm pass through without getting wet. Look at your life right now. How many arguments did you win last week? How many of those arguments actually changed anything? You won the argument, but you lost the peace. You won the argument, but you lost the relationship. You won the argument, but you lost hours of your life that you'll never get back. And for what? For being right. For having the last word. For proving that you're not the one who's wrong. What a ridiculous game to play. The biggest lie we've all been sold is that we need to react to prove we exist. That silence is weakness. That walking away means we're scared. That not responding means we're admitting defeat. But look at the people you admire. The ones who truly have their lives together. The ones who never seem to get rattled. The ones who move through the world with an almost disturbing calm. Are they weak? Are they scared? No. They've simply discovered a secret that you haven't. They've discovered that not reacting is the most powerful position you can take. Think about a lion for a second. When a lion walks through the savannah and a dog barks at it, what does the lion do? Does the lion stop? Does the lion turn around and bark back? Does the lion prove to the dog that it's stronger? The lion just keeps walking. Because the lion knows it's a lion. It doesn't need to prove anything. That's the energy I want you to adopt today. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. You don't need to defend yourself against every accusation. You don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And if you can learn this, your English learning journey will transform overnight. Because right now, you're not struggling with vocabulary. You're not struggling with grammar. You're struggling with the need to sound perfect. You're struggling with the fear of being judged. You're struggling with the voice in your head that says, "They'll think you're stupid." And what do when that voice appears? You react. You freeze. You get defensive. You start apologizing for your accent. You start explaining that you're still learning. You start shrinking. You start becoming smaller so that other people can feel bigger. That's not learning, that's survival. And survival is not the same as growth. When you're in survival mode, your brain shuts down. The part of your brain that processes language goes offline. The part that creates new connections goes to sleep. And the part that's just trying to get you through the moment takes over. So you're not learning. You're just reacting. And your reaction is the reason you've been stuck for years. I want to tell you a story. There was a man who lived in a small village. He was known for his temper. He would explode at the smallest thing. A bird chirping outside his window would send him into a rage. A child laughing in the street would make him clench his fists. And one day, a wise old woman came to the village. The man heard about her and went to see her. He said, "I can't control myself. Everything makes me angry. Tell me what to do." The old woman looked at him and said, "The next time someone makes you angry, walk away. Don't speak. Don't respond. Just walk." He thought she was crazy. "That's it?" he said. She said, "That's it." So the next day, his neighbor said something rude to him, and the man felt the familiar heat in his chest. He felt the words forming in his throat. But he remembered what the old woman said, so he turned around and walked away. He walked to the edge of the village. He walked into the forest, and he kept walking until he couldn't feel the anger anymore. When he came back, the neighbor was still there. But the man was different. The incident had passed. The moment had passed. The anger had passed. Only the man remained. The next week, the same thing happened. Someone said something unkind to him. And again he walked. This time he walked further. He went to the river and sat there for an hour. He listened to the water. He watched the leaves fall. He breathed. When he returned, the person who had offended him was gone. But the man was still there. And the man was becoming something new. He was becoming someone who couldn't be touched by words. You see, words are just vibrations in the air. They have no power except the power you give them. When someone calls you a fool, you have two choices. You can believe them, or you cannot. If you believe them, you react. You get defensive. You try to prove you're not a fool. You waste your energy on proving something that was never true. But if you don't believe them, nothing changes. You're still you. They're still them. And the vibration in the air disappears. That's the power of not reacting. The same principle applies to everything in your life. Your boss criticizes your work. Your friend ignores your message. Your partner says something hurtful. Your English teacher corrects your pronunciation. And in each of those moments, you have a choice. You can react, you can explode, you can defend, you can explain, you can apologize, you can spiral into self-doubt. Or you can just let it be. You can say, "Okay," and keep moving. You can say, "Thank you," and keep building. You can say, "I'll consider that," and keep growing. You can say nothing at all and keep your power. The most dangerous thing about reacting is that it feels productive. It feels like you're doing something. It feels like you're taking control. But all you're doing is giving away your control. You are letting someone else dictate your emotional state. You are letting someone else press your buttons. You are letting someone else steer your ship. And you're calling that strength. When they get a reaction from you, they win. And you lose. Every single time. Think about the times when someone deliberately tried to provoke you. Maybe it was a sibling. Maybe it was a coworker. Maybe it was a complete stranger on the internet. They said something designed to make you angry, and you fell for it. You took the bait. You gave them exactly what they wanted: your attention, your energy, your peace. They didn't care about being right. They didn't care about the argument. They just wanted a reaction. They wanted to know they could still get to you. And you proved them right. Now think about the opposite. Think about someone who is completely unshakable. Someone who has zero reaction to provocation. The person trying to provoke them doesn't know what to do. They try harder. They say worse things. They throw more insults. But the unshakable person just stands there, calm, peaceful, unaffected. And the person trying to provoke them starts to look foolish. They start to look desperate. They start to look like what they really are: small, insecure, desperate for attention. That's the power of not reacting. It exposes the other person. It reveals who they really are without you having to say a word. And this is where English learning comes in. Because the more comfortable you become with silence, the better your English will get. Here's why. When you stop reacting to your own mistakes, you make more of them. And that's actually a good thing. You need to make thousands of mistakes to become fluent. You need to mispronounce words. You need to say the wrong thing. You need to have conversations that feel awkward and clumsy. That's how the brain learns. It learns by failing. It learns by falling down and getting back up. But you've been trying to avoid failure. You've been trying to avoid mistakes. You've been trying to avoid looking stupid. And that's why you're stuck. You're like a child who never learned to walk because they were afraid of falling. The only way to learn English is to speak it. Even if it's bad. Even if it's wrong. Even if people laugh. What do you think happens when you make a mistake? Do you think lightning strikes? Do you think the world ends? Do you think people will remember your mistake 5 minutes from now? They won't. They're too busy thinking about themselves. They're too busy worrying about their own mistakes. They're too busy wondering if you're judging them. Everyone is trapped in their own head, and you're giving them the power to trap you in yours. Stop that. Right now. Make the decision. The next time you want to speak English but you're scared, speak anyway. The next time you want to join a conversation but you're nervous, join anyway. The next time you want to say something but you're not sure if it's correct, say it anyway. And when you make a mistake, don't react. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Don't get defensive. Just keep going. Keep the conversation moving. Keep the energy flowing. Because here's the truth that will set you free. Fluency is not about being perfect. Fluency is about being understood. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You need to sound like yourself. Your accent is not a problem. It's your story. Your mistakes are not weaknesses. They're evidence of growth. Your hesitation is not a failure. It's just a pause. And the more you stop reacting to your own inner voice, the more space you create for real progress. That inner voice, The one that tells you you're not good enough. The one that tells you you'll never learn. The one that tells you to give up. That voice is not your friend. That voice is just a reaction. A reaction to fear. A reaction to uncertainty. A reaction to the unknown. And what do you do with a reaction? You let it pass. You don't argue with it. You don't engage with it. You don't prove it wrong. You just watch it. You say, I see you, fear. I hear you, doubt. And then you act anyway. This is the secret to everything. Not just English. Everything. Your career, your relationships, your health, your happiness. Everything comes down to your ability to not react. To pause. To choose. To respond instead of react. There's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is automatic. It's like a reflex. Someone pushes a button and you jump. Responding is intentional. It's like a decision. Someone pushes a button and you choose whether or not to jump. Most people spend their entire lives reacting. They wake up and immediately react to their alarm clock. They react to the news. They react to their emails. They react to their coworkers. They react to their family. They react to every notification, every comment, every little thing that happens around them. And by the end of the day, they're exhausted. Not because they did anything meaningful, but because they spent all their energy reacting. They're like a pinball machine, bouncing from one stimulus to the next, reacting to lights and sounds and triggers, never in control, never at peace, never truly living. But when you stop reacting, something magical happens. You start to feel the space between you and your thoughts. You start to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes your thoughts. You are the one who watches them come and go. And that observer, that witness inside you, is the real you. The real you is calm. The real you is wise. The real you is unshakable. But you've covered it up with layers of reaction. You've buried it under years of habit. You've hidden it behind the mask you show the world. And it's time to take that mask off. It's time to let the real you breathe. It's time to stop performing and start living. Now let's get practical. I want you to do something today. I want you to choose one situation where you normally react. Maybe it's when someone criticizes your English. Maybe it's when someone gives you unsolicited advice. Maybe it's when someone says something that rubs you the wrong way. And when that situation happens, I want you to do nothing. I want you to feel the reaction rising in your chest. I want you to feel the words forming in your throat. I want you to feel the heat in your face. And then I want you to take a deep breath and stay silent, just for a moment, just for one breath. And then I want you to respond instead of react. You can say, that's interesting. You can say, I'll think about that. You can say, thank you for sharing. Or you can say nothing at all. Whatever you say, make sure it's a choice, not a reflex. Make sure you are in control, not your ego, not your fear, not your insecurity. You. This is the practice. This is the discipline. And this is the way to freedom. Because once you learn to not react, you become free. Free from the need for approval. Free from the fear of judgment. Free from the trap of other people's opinions. And that freedom will transform your English learning. Because learning a language requires vulnerability. It requires taking risks. It requires being willing to look silly. It requires saying things that might be wrong. It requires being okay with not knowing. And that's exactly what most people can't do. Because they're too busy reacting to their own feelings. They feel embarrassed, so they stop speaking. They feel judged, so they hide. They feel scared, so they give up. But you're not going to do that anymore. You're going to feel the embarrassment and speak anyway. You're going to feel the judgment and speak anyway. You're going to feel the fear and speak anyway. Because you know that those feelings are just reactions, and you're no longer controlled by your reactions. You are not your feelings. You are the one who experiences your feelings. You are the one who notices that you feel embarrassed. And that noticing, that observation, that is your power. When you can observe your own embarrassment, you're no longer trapped in it. You can say to yourself, I notice that I'm feeling embarrassed right now. And then you can choose what to do next. You can choose to keep speaking. You can choose to keep learning. You can choose to keep growing. This is what it means to be free. This is what it means to be in control. And this is what it means to truly live. Now I want you to think about your daily routine. Think about all the times you react. The moment you wake up, do you reach for your phone? Do you immediately react to the world? Do you check your messages, your emails, your social media? And what happens when you see a message that upsets you? What happens when you read a comment that bothers you? Do you react immediately? Do you type something back before you've even thought about it? Do you let that message ruin your morning? Do you let that comment steal your peace? That's not living. That's just reacting. That's just being a puppet. You're letting other people pull your strings. But imagine a different way. Imagine waking up and not reaching for your phone. Imagine sitting in silence for a few minutes. Imagine just breathing. Imagine noticing the sun coming through the window. Imagine hearing the birds outside. Imagine just being. No reaction, no urgency, no pressure. Just you and the moment. And then, when you're ready, you can engage with the world. But on your terms. From a place of calm. From a place of power. This is the difference between being driven by the world and being driven by yourself. Most people are driven by the world. They react to everything around them. They're always catching up, always putting out fires, always responding to demands. But the people who achieve great things, they drive themselves. They have an internal compass. They have a vision. They have a purpose. And they don't let the chaos of the world pull them off course. They know what matters and what doesn't. They know what to give their attention to and what to ignore. And they're not afraid to ignore things. They're not afraid to be unresponsive. They're not afraid to say no. Because saying no to the world is saying yes to yourself. That's what you need to start doing. Saying no to the reactions. Saying yes to the space between. Saying yes to the silence. Saying yes to your own voice. Because your own voice has been drowned out by the noise, by the opinions of others, by the expectations of society, by the endless chatter of your own mind. But in the silence, your voice returns. In the space between reactions, you find yourself. And when you find yourself, you find your power. That's the foundation of everything. And your English learning is no different. You've been reacting. You've been reacting to your own mistakes. You've been reacting to your own fear. You've been reacting to your own self-doubt. And that's why you're not progressing. But now you know the truth. Now you see the path. Now you have the key. The key is to stop reacting to your mistakes, to your fears, to your doubts, to the criticism, to the judgment, to everything. Just stop. Let it be. Let it pass. And keep moving forward. Keep speaking. Keep practicing. Keep failing. Keep learning. Keep growing. Because that's what winners do. They don't let their own mind defeat them. They don't let their own reactions control them. They keep pushing, keep moving, keep building, and eventually they become unstoppable. That's you. That's who you're becoming. The person who can't be stopped. The person who can't be shaken. The person who can't be provoked. Because you've learned the power of not reacting. Now, I want to talk about something even deeper. I want to talk about identity. Because your reactions aren't random. They come from somewhere. They come from who you think you are. If you think you're a victim, you'll react like a victim. You'll get defensive. You'll blame others. You'll feel sorry for yourself. If you think you're a failure, you'll react like a failure. You'll give up easily. You'll avoid challenges. You'll shrink from opportunity. If you think you're not good enough, you'll react like you're not good enough. You'll apologize for everything. You'll doubt yourself constantly. You'll sabotage your own success. But what if you changed your identity? What if you started believing that you're capable? What if you started believing that you're strong? What if you started believing that you can learn anything? Then your reactions would change. When you made a mistake, you wouldn't react with shame. You would react with curiosity. When you faced a challenge, you wouldn't react with fear. You would react with excitement. When someone criticized you, you wouldn't react with anger. You would react with detachment. You would know that the criticism says more about them than it does about you. You would know that your worth is not determined by their opinion. You would know that you are the one who defines yourself. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. Define yourself. Stop letting others define you. Stop letting your past define you. Stop letting your mistakes define you. Define yourself. Choose who you want to be. And then start acting like that person. Act as if you're already fluent in English. Act as if you're already confident. Act as if you're already unstoppable. And eventually, you will become that person. Because your actions shape your identity. And your identity shapes your reactions. And your reactions shape your life. It's a cycle. But you can break it. You can change the cycle. You can choose a new identity. You can choose new actions. You can choose new reactions. And you can create a new life. This is not wishful thinking. This is how change happens. It starts with a decision. A decision to be different. A decision to stop reacting. A decision to take control. And you've just made that decision. You've just begun. So let me ask you a question. What's holding you back right now? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the voice in your head that says you can't? Is it the memory of a past failure? Is it the opinion of someone who doesn't believe in you? What is it? Name it. See it, and then let it go. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just let it go, because you don't need it anymore. You don't need the fear. You don't need the doubt. You don't need the voice that says you're not enough. You've carried those things for too long. They've weighed you down. They've held you back. And now it's time to put them down, to leave them behind, to walk away. Because you're moving forward. You're leaving the old you behind. And you're becoming someone new, someone who doesn't react, someone who doesn't get pulled into the drama, someone who stays centered, someone who stays focused, someone who stays on the path. And that path leads to fluency. It leads to confidence. It leads to freedom. It leads to the life you've always wanted. So don't stop now. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep growing. And remember the lesson. The next time you feel the urge to react, pause. Take a breath. Feel the feeling. And then choose. Choose to be calm. Choose to be strong. Choose to be you. Not the reactive you. The real you. The powerful you. The you that's been waiting to come out. It's time to let that you out. It's time to take your power back. It's time to stop reacting and start living. This is the power of not reacting. And this is your new beginning.